everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elizabeth and I'm with Live, Craft, and Love. I'm here today with my second DT project for Country Craft Creations using the collection I Am Mom by Echo Park. This little project right here is a kind of like a mini composition, because it's not a full-blown composition book, but a mini composition book folio. And the actual book measures a 6 1/4 by 9, and it has a 1-inch spine. The cover is chipboard. Everything is chipboard. And on the front here, what I did was, this is part of the sticker sheet, and I mounted it on cardstock to create a little banner. These two are pieces from the ephemera that I just mounted on black cardstock and punched the hole out, so that way I can attach some black string here for the little tags. This is something that came in my DT pack. It's a little set of a fork, a knife, and a spoon. Here are the fork and the knife, and the spoon I went ahead and I mounted it on the spine. Here the knife, and I mounted the spoon on the spine. And this is one of the Prima flowers that came with my DT collection. This, I went ahead and I wrapped the spine with this lace that was in my stash. And then on top of the lace, only in the front cover, I attached flat black pearls. And like I said, and again in the spine, this is a little picture frame that I had, but I thought that was so cute. It looks so pretty having the spoon on top of it. So I went ahead and I put that there. And in the back, here's another beautiful piece of lined paper. And these are stickers from the sticker sheet. Again, it says coffee time. Coffee is my love language. And I thought that went super well with the fact that this is like a mom composition folio. Now, I meant it so that way, it's kind of easy. Some of us have pretty big either totes or purses, and it can fit right into your bag. And it has a little composition book inside. Let me show you. It's also closed with this beautiful ribbon that I got in my DT kit. When you open it up, you see here is your mini composition book. Now, this composition book I did find at the Dollar Tree. So it's, simple, basic little notebook. All I did is I altered the cover, and this slides right into a pocket. So if you can see right there, there's a pocket. It slides right in there. And I did cover the spine of the composition book with some lace I had in my stash. These little elements here are all stickers from the sticker sheet, so I went ahead and I altered it with that one. I added a little paper clip so I can keep my spot wherever I'm at in the composition book. On the side, this is the spine right here, and I went ahead and I used the same ribbon that I used as a closure right here on the spine. On this side, this is a little accordion pocket, good, to hold receipts, to hold little knickknacks, anything that moms carry around with them, or even pictures of our kids. This can even be like somewhat of a brag book. Here's your journaling, here are your pictures, whatnot. And it is an accordion fold pocket that has a magnet closure. This right here is part of one of the stickers in the sticker sheet. That's a vase that says Mom. Above this, this is a little mini waterfall that measures, I believe it's 2 1/4. No, 2.5 by 3. 2.5 by 3 1/4. And there's only 4 or 5 little. This is a same little string, or the baker's twine that I used in the tags in the front, and I used this as a closure. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces for pictures here, or journaling spots. And I went ahead and I made it landscape, just so that way it can fit in more photos. If I were to put vertical, I'd probably only fit like 2. So that's pretty much the project, guys. A little waterfall, a little place to store pictures or receipts or whatever a mom needs to store. And a journal can be used for journaling, grocery lists, to-do lists, workouts, going to the gym and whatnot. So anything that you can use this for, it can be very, very functional. This can be even good for a teacher, a boss, anything. So again, this composition book I did get at the Dollar Tree, and the book itself measures 8.5. Well, actually 5 3/4 by 8.5. So right now I'm going to go ahead and go into the tutorial of how to construct this. And if you do find the composition books at Dollar Tree, then you don't have to mess with the measurements whatsoever. So hopefully you enjoyed this project. I really did love it. It's something super easy and quick to make. So it's something that, you know, you can possibly use to give out as a gift. And I think the paper line is just simply adorable. So let me go ahead and get started with the tutorial. You are going to need, now I do have everything pre-cut just to make things go by a little faster. But I will give the measurements and all that good stuff as I'm going through. First thing you're going to need is to make sure you have your chipboard pieces cut out, and I'm going to give you the measurements in just a second. Let me just clear my desk here because it's a mess. Okay, so you're going to need 2 pieces of chipboard that measure 6 1/4 by 9. 2 of them. One's for the front and one's for the back. 6 1/4 by 9. And then you're going to need your 1-inch spine, which measures 1 by 9. So you're going to need those 3. What you are going to want to do is put score tape on this in one side of the chipboard pieces. I am going to either use 1 or 2 more strips of score tape, but I'm going to also use my art glitter glue to attach it. You are going to need 2 8.5 by 11 sheets of cardstock, and all I did is on the 11-inch side I attached about 1/2 inch of score tape, overlapped it so that way they can go ahead and adhere to each other, and that's pretty much it. Now I'm going to go ahead and start attaching my spine. I usually like scoring. I just can't find my scoreboard, and that's a big no-no. Oh, there it is. It's just folded up. So what I usually like to do, let me go ahead and set this up. I like to score my paper simply because it makes it easier for me to line up my chipboard. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up here on the 11-inch side, and I'm going to go to 1 inch and score all the way down. Of course, it's not long enough, so I'm going to just flip this over, line it up on the 12-inch side. So, and I'm going to go to 11 and finish the scoring. So that's 1 inch from the bottom. Move that out of the way. So now I have kind of like a baseline of where I can adhere my chipboard pieces to. And you have to be careful. If you, I don't know if you can see, but you see how that's a 1/2 inch overlap? You do not want this edge right here to be right there at the edge of your spine, because it has a possibility of falling apart. So you need to make sure that your spine kind of lands in between those 2 overlaps. And it's going to be a little difficult to kind of show on camera, but I'm going to try my best. I covered my entire spine in score tape, of course. I didn't use any art glitter glue here. But I am going to look at my spine. That looks about right. Line it up to my score mark. And make sure it's nice and straight and adhere it down. Now I'm going to try and show you on the camera what I was talking about. So you see here is, and you see I still didn't do that great of a job. Let me see if I can take it out. Nope, I can't. You'll see right now what I mean, but you see how it overlaps? You want to try and get this overlap right here in the middle of the spine piece. So it'll work. Now I'm going to remove the tape backing of my cover so that way I can attach it to the wrap. And I'm just going to use my art glitter glue in the middle. Where'd it go? Oh, it's over here. Okay, so I'm going to try and separate this about 1/4 inch, a little bit less than 1/4 inch away from the spine. And again, I'm using the score mark that is at the bottom to make sure it's lined up straight. And I'm not going crooked. And there. Now to do the next one. I had run out of 1/2 inch score tape halfway through doing this, so that's why I doubled the 1/4 inch score tape on some sides, and then on the other side there's a 1/2 inch score tape. Yeah, you do what you can with what you have. I mean, I could have easily used wet glue, but for some reason I feel more secure with score tape when it comes to the cover and my art glitter glue on the inside. I don't know why. It's a weird thing, I know. Okay, so again, flip it over about 1/4 inch from the spine or so, line up to, hope I'm in frame here, line up to that score mark I made, and press down. Varnish nice and good, and flip it. So now we're ready to go ahead and wrap this up. Now notice that this side of the wrapping is a little longer than this one. That tends to kind of annoy me. So all I'm going to do is make sure that it's about 1 inch away from the chipboard, and cut it. This cutting chipboard. This scoreboard and the paper trimmer is going kind of wonky on me. I think I need to go buy new blades, because you see how it does that rigid, ugly stuff to my paper. I always have to trim it. Okay. Either way, it's gonna get covered. I just don't like the way it looks. Okay. Clear that. Now, on this side, the line has already been scored. So I'm going to do the same thing, run my scoring tool or my vernishing tool all around the perimeter of this cover, just to make sure that I break the little lines in the paper, the threads, so that way it can actually move a little. I'm going to kind of bend it, make sure that it's very pliable and moves. Bend it this way. Bend the edge and flip it over and bend this side. Now I'm going to line my cover on the outside all the way across with score tape. Now I'm using 1/4 inch score tape here. You can use 1/2 inch if you want. I don't see it necessary because I'm going to put score tape on the chipboard pieces as well. But it's up to the preference of the person. If they want to do it and makes them feel more comfortable, why not? Go ahead. It's just, if you want to save yourself a little bit more on score tape and not use it all up, one little piece is enough. Okay, so that's the perimeter of that. And now I'm going to place score tape all around the perimeter. I know I'm going over the little gussets there. That's no problem. No big deal. You do not have to worry about that. It does not interfere with the book. Just like so. And last piece right there. Okay, so let's give our score tape a good varnish. Make sure it's nice and stuck to the chipboard. And same thing to the cardstock. Okay, now when it comes to the cutting, you are going to kind of do a varnish cut where you're going to cut diagonally this way, up into the corner, and then diagonally that way. But you do not want to get that close to that corner. So I'm going to cut about 1/8 of an inch away, and then cut diagonally again. So if you can see, hopefully you can see on the camera, there is about 1/8 of an inch little space between the edge of the cardstock and the tip of my chipboard. And you're going to go ahead and do that to every single corner. And this is just to ensure that, you know, the tips of your album get wrapped around completely. And if it doesn't, if you kind of miss it, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. It's going to be hardly noticeable, and if anything, you can even cover it up with some embellishing or flowers or whatnot. So I'm going to go one line, one section at a time. I am going to use art glitter glue right here at the edge of my chipboard and right in the middle for some extra support. Fold this over. Now I am going to use my bone folder here so I can varnish the sides of the album against the chipboard, kind of also giving that extra little push that the cardstock might need to go over. And there we go. Varnish that really well. And we're done. Now do the same thing to the opposite end. Remove the tape backing. Remove the tape backing. Right here on the edge. And right in the middle. I find that when I put glue on the edge, it makes the fold and the actual wrapping a lot easier. I don't know why. I just see it as a better finish and an easier way to manipulate the paper. Okay, so I'm going to push this down and use my scoring or my bone folder to lay this flat. There we go. Perfect. Okay, now comes the side. Same thing. Except before we go ahead and fold this over, you're going to push in that little tiny piece. I don't know if you can see it right here, but there's, you see how it kind of overlaps the chipboard? You are going to fold that in with your bone folder or whatever tool you have that you're using. If you notice, you see how I folded it in? And over here, the same thing, you fold it in. You want that little bit of an overlap. That way your corner is completely covered and none of the chipboard is being exposed. So there we go. Okay, now this side, turn it around. And last thing. Whoops. Okay. Oops. Almost forgot. Fold in the corners and then put glue. Okay, so as always, I'm doing this kind of in the middle of the night because that's when my baby finally goes to sleep and I can get to work. So if you start hearing me stutter or not making sense and correcting myself, you know exactly why. I'm kind of sleepy, y'all, but I need to get this done. It's been on my to-do list for quite a while already. Okay, so there, nice and wrapped. Go ahead and get your bone folder in there in a crease. Make sure that it can bend. And there you go. So there's the cover. Nice and pretty. Now you see how the fold here did not lie on the very edge of the chipboard. That's what you want. You don't want this right here where you got attached to each other to be right at the corner because it will tend to fall apart. Okay, now what we need to do is cover this, and for that you're going to use an 8.5, I believe. Yeah, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and then another piece that is going to measure 3 by 8.5. And you're going to attach them at a 1/2 inch score tape just like you did the cover, just so that way it can reach completely across, just like that. Okay, so this is 8.5 by 11 and this is 3 by 8.5. Attached it with a 1/2 inch score tape, both of them together, so that way you can adhere it here. And I would tend to probably put it on this side because my right side is going to have a large pocket for the composition book. So before attaching this, I am going to get some more score tape and I'm going to run along the edges of the spine because sometimes that's where it will, not sometimes, all the time, that is where all the action is going on with the opening and the closing of the folio or an album, and you don't want the paper to start lifting there. So I found it best to put score tape at the edges of the spine so that way it can keep the spine kind of sturdy. And that's it. Okay, so then now here, I'm going to put score tape only around the perimeter again. And on the inside, I will be using art glitter glue. And then I'll be attaching this to the cover. Go, and one more. Now this tutorial is only for the base of the folio. I'm not going to go into detail as far as how I embellished it or anything like that, because I already did show you the final product before I started with the tutorial, so you can have an idea of what it could look like. Now, excuse me, again, these are just my ideas. It is not set in stone. You can use this project for anything that suits your needs or needs of somebody else that you might know. Okay, so that's done. Let me remove the backing from here and go crazy with my art glitter glue. Okay, so there we go. Turn this over and line this up right in the center vertically and in the center horizontally, just so that way you have, and I'm putting my head in the way, a good straight look. Okay, I think that's pretty straight. Varnish it really, really well, especially along the spine. Make sure that score tape gets adhered. That's going to get covered up anyway. And go ahead and crease on the fold, not too hard because you don't want to tear your paper. And make sure that you varnish on both ends. And the same thing over here. Crease on that fold. And varnish right next to it. Okay, there you go. This is the cover. So you're done with that. Now the next piece that you're going to need is going to be your pocket. And I just covered it up with all these little pieces of score tape. Okay, so next you're going to need is your pocket. The pocket is going to measure 9.5 by 6 1/4. Score on 3 sides at 1/2 inch mark, and then varnish your edges so that way you can create your pocket. Pull this over, that one over. Okay, and then now this. Now the pocket is going to go on the right side of the folio. And you're going to line it up right in the center. I don't know if you can see that or not. Right in the center, right against the edge of that chipboard. But center it vertically. The edge is right at the edge of the chipboard because that's where you want it to be. And there you go. That's where your composition book is going to end up going, right in here. Now for the other side, you are going to need an accordion pocket, which you're going to need a piece of cardstock that measures 8.5 by 8. 8.5 by 8. You're going to score, since this is 8.5, you're going to score at 4 1/4 right here down the middle, and it's going to fold in half. Move out of the way. You're going to fold that in half. Then you're going to flip it vertically, and you're going to score at 1/2 inch and at 1 inch. Turn it and score at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Fold those in. nice and good. So what I did is I went ahead and I folded it in half, and you're simply going to cut from the edge of the fold line out diagonally and then like that also. So once you do that, then you're going to cut off one of these the outside flaps. You're going to cut out one on only one side of this accordion pocket. Okay, so you're going to leave these two scored, and on the opposite side you're going to remove 1/2 inch on the side after you cut these corners. Now to attach it, you're going to fold these in. The double piece you're also going to fold in, but then you're going to fold back out like an accordion. So fold in and out. Attach score tape to the to one side, and then you're going to fold it in half to attach it to the accordion. Now I usually try and attach one edge first to make sure it's lined up, and then the other one should fall right into place, just like so. And you're done. Now if you do see that there's a little bit of a hang, like right here, there's a tiny little piece that's hanging out. And if that bothers you, you can just trim it just like that. Okay, so this is going to be the accordion pocket that belongs over here. You do need the flap though, so you are going to need a piece that measures, my ruler fell down. Ow. You're going to need a piece that measures, darn it, 3 inches by 6. So 3 by 6. You're going to score, let me get my scoreboard just so you can see. On the 3-inch side, you're going to go ahead and score this paper at 1 inch and then again at 1.5 inch. Okay, so that's at 1 inch and 1.5 inch on the 3-inch side. And go ahead and fold on the crease lines. And this is going to be your little pocket flap for your book. So all I'm going to do is use my art glitter glue, and on the 1-inch side, not the other, because there's one side that's longer than the other. On the 1-inch side, the shorter end, I'm going to attach glue and glue it to the back of my pocket, making sure that I am not overlapping that score mark, because if I do, then it's not going to close properly. So make sure it closes over, and then varnish the sides. Now there's a little hangover. I'm just trimming the edge there because there's a little bit of a hangover. Okay, so then now that is done, and all I'm going to do is adhere it to there. Before I do attach it here, I would mat the page right here, and the mat size that you're going to need is going to be 5 3/4 by 8.5. So 5 3/4 by 8.5. Attach your mat there, and then attach this right here. Just like so. Now, the only thing that you have left, of course, you're going to attach magnets to this. You can attach magnets, you can attach seam binder or whatnot to close it, or you can just leave it as is. That is up to you. The last thing that we have is our waterfall. So these are the measurements for the waterfall. You're going to need a piece that measures 5.5 by 2.5. And these measure 2.5 by 3 3/4, and all I did is I scored it 1/2 inch. So 2.5, 3 3/4, score it 1/2 inch. You're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 of those pieces. Now before I attach it, I am going to add all my little waterfall pieces. So my first piece, I fold it in, the adhesive side is down, and I'm going to line that up to the very edge of my larger piece of paper and varnish. Do the same exact thing with the other ones, adhesive down, line it up to the edge of the first little flap and adhere it down. Make sure that they're lined up on the edges. Don't let them be crooked. And same thing here. Adhesive down. Line up to the edge. Make sure that they're nice and straight here. And last one. Adhesive down. Line it up and you're good to go. Okay, so that is my waterfall. So then this is going to be going up here. Now again, I don't want to attach it because of the fact that, you know, I need to put a piece of design paper on there. And I'm not going to be doing that right now. I'm just doing the base tutorial. But I am going to show you how I did attach the baker's twine, just like this, to the waterfall so that way I can close it. Now, I found it much easier instead of trying to use wet glue to get this to stick. I found that putting a piece of score tape, a 1/4 inch score tape, either way, this side is going to be adhered to the bottom of the book anyway. So I got some score tape and I attached the baker's twine, making sure it's in the middle. I don't want it to be all uneven. I put the baker's twine right on top of that score tape, just so that way it won't move when I'm trying to adhere it to my book, just like that. So when I do attach it, I do use art glitter glue for the entire thing, and then I'll go ahead and mount it on there, or you can mount it this way, whichever way you prefer, and then you tie it up and you're good to go. And that, other than the actual decorating, that's pretty much it, guys. Don't forget, if you do want a closure on this, a ribbon closure like mine, just like this, you will have to attach the ribbon around the folio first and then put your design paper on top. I've made many mistakes like that. Sometimes I'll just leave the ribbon on the top of the mini album or the folio. But that's pretty much it, y'all. This is the tutorial for my I Am Mom mini composition book folio. Hopefully you all like it. If you do, please, please, please give it a thumbs up. Again, this is my second design team project for Country Craft Creations. If you would like to find the collection, please go visit her store. It's countrycraftcreations.com. You'll find everything that you need plus more in order to complete this project. And don't forget, I've completed this project and this project with that one collection. And y'all, I still have, let me show you what I have left. I still have ephemera. I have a few scraps. I still have a lot of stickers in the sticker sheet. Here are some more scraps that I have. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 design pages still left. So definitely I'm going to be able to have another project out of this one paper collection and a few solids. So I think it's so worth the money, so worth the time to be able to create something, you know, for mom or for yourself if you're a mom. So I've done the envelope mini album, and I've also made this mini composition book folio. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I love each and every one of you so, so much. And don't forget, live passionately, craft often, and love endlessly. We'll see you guys next time. Bye now. Big hugs.